Hey guys, I want to go ahead and let you know up front that the items you'll see in this video that will be for sale at the Antique Mall at my antique booth. The only exception will be the brass candles, and that's a very special exception, and you'll see why toward the end of the video. Yeah, I'm like a kid in a candy shop anytime I come in here, and you know this, and there is a gorgeous silver metal Christmas tree back there I would love to have. Hey guys, hard to believe we are in August and it is below 70 degrees, very rainy outside. We've already gotten like 2 inches of rain. Anyway, I had to pop up here to the auction warehouse to pick up my auction winnings today. So I cannot wait to show you everything I bought. All right guys, I am here at Muscarelli Auction House again. The auction warehouse, I should say. Once again, this car is not for sale. That is the owner's baby. Alright, this is one of the staging areas where they start staging stuff for upcoming auctions. I swear I've seen that bunny. Might be in a current auction. Motorized wheelchair. I'm assuming that's a big mouth bass laying there. I don't know much about fishing. I used to go fishing as a child, but I don't remember, you know. Okay, here's a lot of bookends. This is cast iron, and I'm assuming this is like one of those grinders, an old-fashioned grinder. My mom used to have one. It would hook to the countertop or a table, and we used to grind nuts. I remember that because I had to help grind all of the nuts to make nut rolls at Christmas time. Some milk glass pieces. Oh, that's the globe that goes on that little milk glass lantern right there. I love getting to come in here and show you guys this stuff. It is so much fun. I'm going to have to, I didn't bring my microphone. I meant to and I forgot. And so I'm going to have YouTube work some editing magic for me to get the music out of the background so I don't end up with copyright strikes. These are all salt and pepper shaker sets. So cute. Look at Santa. And here's Mr. and Mrs. Claus sitting on a bench getting ready to smooch. I'm not going to handle some of this stuff because things are fragile. Oh, this is pretty. This is a wedding cake dish with the gold amber colored cookie jar. Got some super vintage eyeglasses here, y'all. So sweet. Cornucopias. Just in time for Thanksgiving. Various crocheted linens. Look at this. Oh my God. I haven't seen one in a while. Not for sale anyway. I've seen some for displays. This is an old spool holder for sewing. My grandmothers used to have stuff like that. Look at that little vintage booties. Ooh, and brass bells. Y'all know I like brass. I like the brass bells. Some more vintage linens. Mrs. Butterworth's. Cast iron. I would love to have that silver metal Christmas tree there. I don't know if it's aluminum. Years ago, my grandparents had one, and they had the one that spun with the colored light wheel under it. I will always remember that. I always thought it was so weird when I was a kid. And I was like, Grandma, why would you have a Christmas tree that turns like that? This is weird. But she loved it. It was my great-grandmother, and she had those. And she used it every year. Look at all this. Oh my goodness. Vintage lights and dishes. There's chairs here. If y'all wonder why I'm not like getting close and picking things up, one reason I don't pick things up is because they're getting ready to go up for auction, okay? So I can't be responsible for breaking anything because this is someone's estate that is being sold off, probably for family or whatever. So anytime there's an auction, it's usually for a specific estate. Oil on canvas. Y'all know I love oil on canvas. I just picked up 2 oil on canvas today. Let me tell you something about when you bid for things online. Because when I get home and show you the items I bought in a recent auction that will go to my antique booth, when you see the dimensions like on paper or on the computer, let me tell you, it's a little bit different when you get some of these things in person. Like, you can automatically picture like a 5x7 or an 8x10. Some of these other size paintings and stuff though, when you're thinking about the dimensions in your head, when you come to pick things up, you'll probably be surprised at how big they are, because I know I was with a couple of things. I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize that picture was going to be that big. And I got some awesome candlestick holders, very rare candlestick holders, y'all, and you will be shocked when you see them. Look at all these vintage clothespins. Oh, green, green, green. Y'all know I love green. Look at this. Oh my goodness, it's a 4-footed glass. Oh, I'm glad to watch for these to come available, because y'all know I like the green. Here's an old scale. Looks like it's in pretty good condition too. Look at this old, these are called train cases. These carry-ons like that, those were always called train cases, because back in the day everybody took trains, and that was your carry-on luggage to the train. Whether you were making a day trip, a weekend trip, it did not matter. Match holder, little odds and ends. Beautiful lamp. They got quite a few of these men's valets. This one looks like it's in pretty good condition, and this one here looks like it's in pretty good condition. And is this considered, no, yeah, is this considered a valet or what? Somebody help me out with that down in the comments. These are folding trays in a stand. KitchenAid mixer, got a milkshake machine right there. Vintage abacus. We used to use those in grade school, just to give you an idea how old some of these things probably are. I'm 58. So when I say we used to use one like this in school, this thing's probably about 50 years old or older. Oh, I see some Christmas tablecloths over there. Some crochet doilies, some blow mold. There's a little bunny blow mold. This is an old record cabinet. Here is a rolling butcher block. Oasis Island. Now, just to remind you, these solid wood items, you can sand these down, clean them up, and use some wood, butcher block, wood conditioning oil, or wood conditioning lotion on there. This one, you can see it has stain wearing off. If you're going to use this as a butcher block, you do not want to put stain on there, okay? Because food products, y'all. But now if you're just using this as a rolling island, like a bar cart or something, you could definitely stain it if you wanted to. So many nice vintage items. These are like little vintage hangers. This would be like a vintage powder box. My grandmother used to have those. Once she emptied her powder, she would use these to hold her jewelry. She would rope her pearls in there and stuff to hold her jewelry. We're going to go right back around here. Nice big pottery jug. Oh, cracker tins. Cracker tins always go fast, especially these Nabisco ones. Got some plastic canisters and the old paper towel holders and recipe boxes. A vintage trash can. There's just so much to see. And we all used to have these in our houses. Those are vintage step stools. So you could sit on it as a regular stool, and then you pull those steps out to use those. For any of you who are too young to know that that's what we did back in the day. Got a cast iron pot down here. A couple of vintage sleds. I know I'm going fast. I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to, they're gracious enough to let me come in here and film and give you an idea about what kind of things you can find in the online auctions. Now, I have done a video for in here in the past, and I do want to remind you there's an 18% buyer's premium on the online auctions. So you have to add that to the cost of the item plus the taxes. So if you buy an item for $10, you're going to pay 18% on top of that, plus the North Carolina sales tax is what, 7%? So it'd be 18 plus, and then times the 17 on, or the 7% on top of that. Look, there's a vintage Christmas tree stand and some more gold ornaments under there. If you want to participate in an online auction, they do theirs through a company. I think in my last video I mistakenly said ProBid. It's proxy bid. So you have to have a proxy bid account to bid in their online auctions. They do sell a lot of signage and artwork in the online auctions, and they do sell some stuff here in the warehouse. Curtis and Reggie sell some items here in the warehouse that you can come in and buy anytime. Here's a vintage coat rack. There's some more blow molds over there. Curtis, it's very crowded in here, y'all, and it's very overwhelming. I mean, very overwhelming. And Curtis was supposed to be clearing me out a way around some of the other areas so I could film some more stuff. Hey, up here some more cabinets. Sorry, I'm all zoomed in. Up here some more cabinets, wheelbarrows, lawnmowers, blow molds, trees, all kinds of stuff up here that are getting ready to go to auction. I don't know about these records. That's iffy. There's signs. Look at the 12 disciples over here. These are wooden carved disciples with wigs. I was like, what in the world's up with all these wigs? I couldn't figure it out when I first walked in. Because when I first walked in, all I saw was the back side of these wigs. And I was like, what in the world is going on with the wigs? And then I come over here and it's the 12 disciples. And here's Jesus. There's his crown. There's just so much to see in here. It's very overwhelming. Very, very overwhelming for me to come in here at times. It's so fun because you don't ever know what you're going to find. I do want to caution you, they do sell things at like antique mall style prices in here, okay? Here's a vintage cigar holder. My father used to have one similar to this. It may have been the exact same. Here's some cast metal irons. The handles are gone, but these should still make like good door stops and decor. I have cast iron that I use as door stop. I'm not sure about, I think all of this stuff here in the middle is going to auction. They have different staging areas for different auctions. I'm going to have to ask, but I'm assuming that's what it is because they have all these other tables pushed up against here where you cannot get over there to like grab things and shop. Because like I said, there's only certain areas in here that you can shop in. There's a couple of brass spittoons right there, and look at that mirror. I'd love to be able to see that mirror better. Look how ornate that mirror is. It's shoved up there between the two tables with the paper on the corner there. And there's a rooster in there I would like to get a good look at. But like I said, I cannot get over there, and I'm assuming that's because it's an auction staging area. We got this wagon here, and there's like, I guess is that a pink Barbie Jeep? Like, I can't even get in there to see it, y'all. Here's lots of vintage clothing right here hanging on these racks. There's just stuff everywhere. Old leather couch, at least I think it's leather. It feels like it's leather. I don't know what that is, but if I pull it out, I might start an avalanche. Oh my God, it's a face. That's crazy. Oh my God. That's crazy. They made it out of old metal parts and keys and stuff. Look at that, and screws. That's unique. I like that. Look at these horse parts. It's just the front half of the Clydesdale, and you can see it has like the greenery around it for like Christmas. It's super cute. There's more signage. If y'all like vintage signs, this is the place to come. There's like a metal sleigh over there that I would love to look at. I'm going to have to see if I can make my way over through that maze to get there. I just don't know that I can. Lots of these metal lanterns. Perfect for Christmas decor. He must have got a deal on like a bundle of those or something. And there's some cast iron lanterns down there. Oh, those are actual lights. Okay, be careful walking through here because like there's things sticking out. You really got to pay attention to where you're going. I love this. I don't know what it is. I have to research that. Somebody had $40 on it. I don't know if that's their price or not. Usually you have to ask Reggie or Curtis like how much things are. Vintage blocks, metal box. There's some more blow molds. Do I dare to walk through here? Old radio. Old fan there. Sometimes you can find these old fans and stuff and they'll actually be in working condition, y'all. Here's an old paperweight. Button. Who's got the button? Paperweight. Look at this little bird dish. It's super cute. Oh my God, this is an old paper dispenser and there's still paper in it. Vintage cookie cutters, a vintage towel, bar holder thing with the graduated arms on it. Sorry, there's just so much to look at. Like my eyes are in one place and my brain is in another. This old mannequin bust here. Here's a vintage artwork down here, and there's more. These are pretty large paintings. Pottery, the rocking chair, and maybe an old cast iron stove. I still haven't figured out how I can get over there to look at that sleigh. I might not be able to. Alrighty, so we're going to keep on moving along through here. They get a lot of stuff from estate sales here in this portion where you can come and shop. I do like this old vintage windmill picture. It is just a print, but it's nice. Some old scales over there. All kinds of stuff in here, y'all. Once again, if you like vintage signs, they have a lot of vintage signs in here. And old enamelware. Here's an old case. Ask for assistance with, no, okay. I think this is probably for sale, but I cannot guarantee it. You always have to ask because I'm never sure what's going to auction and what's available for sale. Most of the items down the middle of this warehouse are supposed to be for sale, but like the side up there on the front I know is all auction. Once again, lots of old pots. They got some old motor oil cans, just a little bit of everything. Here's a metal pitcher, an old funnel, butter churn, Cracker Jack box, tins. They do have some tins back there. More signs. Some vintage butt cake pans. They do have there's a vintage typewriter stand, a metal one with the leaves that fold up. We used those in high school. Yeah, it's still here. Okay, they have this vintage coffin. Now, it's not like there's a dead body in there or anything, because you can see how clean the sides are. These old vintage coffins like that, they had like, I don't know if it's felt or velvet. I guess it's velvet on here. I'm assuming this came out of an old funeral home, like it was a display. But it is a little bit disturbing because it's an infant coffin. There's a curio shelf, large hurricane-style candle holder, an old percolator coffee pot, mini scales, a duck, letter N, more signs. This is a spoon holder, I believe. People, like my grandmother, used to collect spoons from everywhere she traveled, and you would hang it there because they had these decorative ends on them that would hold them in there. Christmas style metal snowman. Here's another one of those stools, and they do have this one pulled out so you can see how you can use it to step up into there. Candle holder. This is plastic. I thought it was going to be cast iron, but it's not. It's plastic. I do want to caution you, they do sell things at like antique mall style prices in here. So like, you're not going to come in here and you know, this is not like a yard sale. This is like being in an antique mall as far as pricing is concerned. So you will pay up for items. I just scared myself. I couldn't find my keys, and he's like, oh God. If I lost my keys in here, I'm in trouble. But I didn't, thankfully. Look at these vintage baby shoes. Oh my God. You can just tell how old they are.
Well, we'll text you in a little while and let you know. And then we'll go from there. And if it looks like it
Big brass. I guess that's like a spittoon. I'm not sure. I'm assuming it was like a big brass spittoon or something. It's a big urn.
I appreciate you. Absolutely.
Some vintage ashtray stands. Here's a vintage carriage holding some flowers. There, if you can hear, there's other customers in here shopping right now. Whenever they have auction pickup days, a lot of us will shop around. But like I said, you better be prepared to pay vintage antique store prices, okay? There was a brass item I found the last time I was here, and I wanted to get a price on it before I left. And then I could not remember for the life of me where I had saw it. Like, it was just in a box somewhere, and I still can't find it. It was like this little brass genie lamp. And I can't remember if it had all of its parts or not. I just remember like briefly seeing it, and I set it back down because I was filming, and like I said, then I couldn't remember where in the world I saw it at. There's some brass, I forget what you call them, they go in your fireplace and hold your logs in there. The term eludes me at the moment. Here's another cast iron. Like I said, those make great door stops. If you like door stops, I love having a good door stop, because if you're moving things in and out of the house, it's very helpful to have a door stop. This is a painting of a nude woman. It looks like it's probably done by an amateur for sure, but anything original will rise in value most of the time over the years, even when it's done by an amateur, just because it's an original. You have to consult an antique painting expert about those matters.
You guys always putting different stuff in?
Because I'm not an expert by any means. And I won't ever pretend to be. Glass candle snuffer. What is that? Here's a vintage cake plate. Now, I love looking at stuff like this, y'all, because not only does it bring back memories, but I used to do cake decorating. If you don't know that, I used to decorate cakes and cookies. I just don't have time for it. And with my golden retrievers, they get into everything, so they can make it quite difficult to decorate cakes. If I sit down to do anything like edit a video, my golden retrievers come in there and start nudging my arms, and they want to be petted and played with, and they get really upset when they feel like they're being ignored. So cake decorating is very challenging. These old vintage baby shoes, they're so cute. My kids used to wear ones like those. This is really pretty. Once again, I don't mean to be moving through here too fast, but it's getting busier now because more and more people are showing up to pick up their auction winnings. And I say auction winnings because it means they won the auction bid, because you do have to bid against everybody else. And whoever bids the highest before the item times out on the last day of the auction wins that bid. Make no mistake about it, we did not win our merchandise, we had to pay for it. Here's another scale. This one's by Kentucky Home. It's a little bit rusty crusty there. This little car, I remember these tin cars. We used to play with those when I was a kid. Yes, I'm that old. Was. I'm trying to see what I might have missed that you might want to see. Look at this old veterinarian hospital sign. Wow. Oh, here, look, I just walked right by this and didn't see it. It's metal. I don't think it's cast iron. Definitely metal there, like a display stand. Some more of those brass, God, what do you call them for the fireplace? I'll think of it as soon as I quit filming. Wicker shelf. Alrighty, I think I'm going to look and see if I can find that other brass piece I was talking about. Hey guys, I had to look in a box, under some posters. I found it. It's like a little genie lamp. It is an incense burner, and I thought it was brass, but I think it's copper. So, let me show you. If you come in here, you've definitely got to like dig through these boxes, because there's boxes. And like I said, I had to move this box off of that box to be able to look in here. And there's just all kinds of stuff in this box. So, like, if you don't get in here and look around, you could be missing some real... This is one of those, you know, knife sharpening tools, right? If you don't look in here, you might miss some really spectacular things. I don't know what this is off of, this little bird. Some of this stuff y'all might recognize more readily than I do. But you just gotta get in here and dig around. And it can be time consuming because there's a lot of stuff in here. And if you don't like to get in the thick of things and get down and get dirty, because you will get your hands a little dirty digging in some of this stuff. Some of this stuff is old. Vintage stuff is sometimes not real clean. You're going to get a little dirty. Has some really old comics in there. Old comics are the best comics, you know? Old percolating coffee pot. I know that because my grandparents used to use those on their gas stoves. That's a weight, 2-pound weight. A couple more weights right here on the floor. All right, y'all, I just finished filming in the auction house again, and just as a reminder, the middle section where I did most of the filming, you can come in here and shop the middle section. Reggie and Curtis run that portion, and you can come in here and shop. Now, they do prefer that you bring cash. I bought this little brass candle snuffer because I do sell a lot of brass stuff in my booth, and I can pass that on to someone else, and because I bought these brass candles that I cannot wait to show you from the auction. But I can't show you right now because they're so big. These things stand like, I think they're like 3.5 feet tall. Anyway, I'll show you those when I get home. I'm going to have to put those in my antique booth, and I'll probably list those on Facebook Marketplace because they're so big, but it will be for local pickup only. They are a very rare find. So somebody's going to want these. I want to extend a very special thanks to Curtis, Reggie, Ted Muscarelli, and all of his team for being so welcoming to me again and allowing me the opportunity to film in the warehouse. Thanks so much, guys. Alrighty, guys, you're going to have to excuse the lighting situation. It's been raining all day, and this was the best I could do to show you what items I just got from the auction house. This is an oil on canvas. It is signed. Y'all know I like bright, happy colors. So I just thought this was a beautiful still life. I usually don't deal a lot with still life. I prefer like lakes and mountains, and I don't prefer the still life of like flowers and fruits typically. But like I said, I do like bright, happy colors, and this is bright and happy to me. The canvas portion of it all is 20 by 24. Give me a second and I'll measure the frame so you have correct frame measurements. Alrighty, the frame measurements are about 27.5 inches wide, and it's about 32 inches tall. Now this will be available in my booth as soon as I can make room. I got other stuff hanging on. It's nicely framed. It is a nice solid frame. And like I said, it's a beautiful still life. This is the other oil on canvas that I bought, and I absolutely love this. I love the frame. I love everything about it. Now it does need cleaned up. It's vintage. It's been in a warehouse, so it does need a little cleaning up. But this is gorgeous, and it's signed right down here at the bottom right. Now this one will be in my booth too sometime soon. This is a really large picture. I will measure that in just a moment. So I don't know how I'm going to hang this in my booth. I'm probably going to have to rearrange my whole booth to make room on the very back wall in order to hold this because it is so large. And this one may even stay here at my house for a while. I don't know. I have to wait and see how much my husband likes it and if he likes it as much as I do. Because with all the gold looking leaves and stuff, I just think it's a gorgeous picture for fall, don't you? And I really shouldn't say picture because it's a painting. It's an oil on canvas. The canvas portion itself is 24 inches tall. I know I do not have room for this in my booth right now. So once again, it's probably going in my house at least temporarily. Unless my husband decides that he likes it as much as I do, at which point we will keep it here. But when it goes to my booth, I will let you know. I will let you know on my YouTube channel. And once it goes into my booth, because it is so large and I will want to move this piece out quickly, I will also list it on the Facebook Marketplace so that you know it's available in my booth and you can go down there and buy it. Okay, I also got this handmade quilt, y'all. Now, I paid up for this. I paid way more for this than I wanted to or that I anticipated doing so. But the reason I did it is because, look at this. It is hand-stitched. It's obvious that it is hand-stitched. So whoever did this, they either only had the white thread available to them to make this quilt, or they were just an amateur trying, and it could be a little bit of both. Because it is vintage, it does have a little bit of staining, but if you are a collector of vintage quilts, then you know vintage items get stains and wear and tear. All right, guys, here is a close-up of the stitching of this quilt so you can see it is truly hand-stitched. Now, I do not know the history of this quilt, when it was stitched or who it was stitched by. I haven't found, a lot of people will write their names on the quilts, and I haven't found anything like that. The stitching is kind of all over the place. Like right here, there's some real nice stitching where these pattern pieces were put together, but then as the quilt itself was put together, you can tell that everything is sewn with irregular size stitches, and the lines are not straight, and the lines overlap in places. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this. I don't know if it was stitched by a beginner, someone with an unsteady hand. Maybe it was stitched together by multiple family members working on a project together. You just never know. Because as I said, I don't have the history for this quilt, but I did want to show you that it is definitely hand stitched. It does have a couple of minor stains. This is vintage, that's going to happen. And there's a couple of places that look like maybe they were repaired. Like, look at this stitch, how they crossed and tied this off. Can you see that? Like, it's just so random. Anyway. The back is not solid. It just has the one backing to it. And the sewing on this part actually looks a lot better than this part. So I don't know how that ended up. But anyway, it does have really nice edges. It is a nice, clean, vintage quilt. And even though it looks like there's been a couple of repairs, excuse me, it is in really good condition. This will be in my antique booth very soon. Now, surprise, surprise, this is the back side of the quilt. It is not plain white. A lot of times people will use plain white backing on their quilts. This is not the case. They actually use this other floral pattern on the back. So you could use it with the sailboat side, or you could use this side, depending on how you want to display it. Or if you wanted to put it on a bed or drape it over a chair, you have your choice. Use the floral side or use the sailboat side. Okay guys, I have laid this sailboat quilt out so that you can see that I'm measuring it. Now once again, this was probably an amateur quilt. And so like the edge isn't real straight. So it's about 61 inches in width. It is roughly about 76 inches in length. And let me show you what this whole thing looks like. Hang on. I'm trying to get a good enough view of it. Okay, that's what the front side looks like all laid out. And here's what the back side looks like all laid out. Once again, most people will put like a solid color on the back of a quilt, especially on sailboats or something like that. But they went the opposite direction and they quilted together pieces of like the same floral motif here. So you could use it for either side, and you can see where it's all stitched together back here. Now, if I look at the stitching on the back side and compare it to the front side, it does kind of look like maybe somebody got some help with this at some point in time. How cool would it be, though, to buy somebody's very first quilt? To provide you with some scale, I have draped it over a full-size bed. This would be perfect for a twin size, but you know, it will lay across the full-size bed just as a topper, but like nothing that you would want to sleep under or anything like that. It would be more suited for a twin size. All right, guys. These are my pride and joy. I really wanted to win the bid on these, and I did, but I had to pay for it, let me tell you. These are vintage, 36-inch tall, solid brass Moroccan candle holders. They are etched. They're really, really dirty. I need to clean them. See the dust and dirt on there? I mean, they've been in storage. This one's just a tiny bit bent right there. But I love these. Oh my God, I love these. I will leave them patinaed. I am not going to polish them. I do have the original candles for them. They're down there in the box. I will put the candles in there and try to get more video. These sell online for $200 to $500, depending on who or where you try to buy them from. And then shipping, the cheapest shipping I've seen on these is like $35 or $45, and depending on where you live, if they were to be shipped, it would cost even more. I do not ship. I am not an online seller. When they become available, I will put it on my YouTube channel. I will also list these on Facebook Marketplace. As I said, it's been raining and gloomy all day long, and I couldn't find a good place to film these so you could get light and see how tall they are. So just the bases are 36 inches tall, which is 3 feet. The candles, which have been burned a little bit, are over 23 inches tall. So they were probably 24, 25 inches tall originally, but they have been burned a little bit and broken off around the top. That one has. This one's still on there pretty good. These are the original candles, Holiday Red. These are the ultimate Christmas candles, y'all. So these will be for sale probably sometime between now and Christmas. If you think you want these, you can leave me a comment on my Trina's Things Facebook page or under this video on YouTube. You have to be local. You have to be able to pick these up locally. And just to let you know, the candles that go with these candle stick holders was Williamsburg Soap and Candle Company from Williamsburg, Virginia. These candles are vintage, and when I looked them up online to try to find candles to go with these, if you had to buy replacements, candles that are smaller than that, like probably a foot shorter, sell for over $88 online. So you're going to get the candles with both of these, so keep that in mind when I price. Alrighty guys, I had to get cleaned up and head down to the antique mall to put some of the items in my booth. Not everything is there, but some of the items are, so you can visit my booth. It's number 418 at Fantastic Finds to see what's available for purchase there, okay? Thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you again for the next video. Love ya. Bye.